Hello, good evening. It's day 15 of Vlogmas. I'm so tired. I went out last night and it was a wild one. So I was about to settle down and start watching the new series of The Crown. I'm so loving The Crown. And I'm going to settle down and watch that, probably finish it tonight, a big binge watch. And I was thinking, what should I talk about today? So I thought I would share with you the 6 steamiest series stroke films that are on Netflix. These are my favorites anyway. So if you're looking to binge watch something over the next few days because you might be off for Christmas, then these are my tips, my recommendations. These are not in order of preference by any means, just in order of appearance on my home screen. So first thing I'd recommend watching is Sex Education. It's so much fun. It's a series that has, I can't remember, 3 or 4 different seasons. It's set in the UK and it follows a group of teenagers who are coming of age and they are very curious about sexuality. So it follows them on their journey of discovery of sex and teen love, etc. And there is a sex therapist in it and her son, and because he knows a lot about sex, he becomes a kind of sex therapist at his school for all his friends who have lots of questions about sexuality and lots of disasters and discoveries, and I highly recommend it. So it's kind of interesting to discover things about sexuality, but also mixed in with a little bit of quite a lot of humor. It's very entertaining. The next thing I recommend is a series called Sex Life. It's amazing. Sex Life has 2 seasons. The second one is not great, but you might just be curious to watch it after watching the amazing first series, which I enjoyed very much. It features a married woman who has 2 small children, and she's starting to rediscover her sexuality after recently becoming a mother. And she's pining for her ex because she married someone who was a kind of safe bet, but she's reminiscing about the wild days with an ex of hers. And this features female sexuality. It's very much through the female gaze, and there are some very hot sex scenes in it. A lot of people were very uncomfortable with the plot and the storyline and the message of this series, saying it was kind of glorifying infidelity, etc. But what you don't really realize when you're watching it is that a lot of the hot sex scenes with the ex are actually flashbacks. So, but yeah, it's a very hot series. And it's nice to see sexuality portrayed through the female gaze. So you get lots of cunnilingus, so lots of like female stimulation and all of that, the things that you don't normally see. So I think it's very highly recommended. And also something I recommend, which I kind of enjoyed, is Lady Chatterley's Lover. That's a book that I read many years ago. It was actually, I can't remember when it was published exactly, but it's actually forbidden because it was so hot. And I've watched different, it's been filmed a few times throughout history, but this latest depiction features Emma Corrin, and it's quite well done. It's about forbidden love through the class system. So she's a very rich woman, and she's actually having a very hot affair with the gardener. So it explores things like class and also forbidden love. It's very hot. Oh my God, my neighbors are making so much noise. This is the worst thing about living in Spain, is that when people make noise, they just don't care about anyone else. Oh my God. And obviously Christmas time, it's like, yeah. And this is why I hate alcohol. It just makes people become very antisocial. Okay, next thing is a series called Sex, Love and Goop. Amazing series. This really opened my eyes. It's actually a docu-series. So this is Gwyneth Paltrow works with several sex therapists, sexologists, and she takes some couples who are having some issues and she pairs them up with different methods of sex therapy. And it really opened my eyes to sex therapy in general, because I always assumed that when a couple goes to a sex therapist, it's more or less over and they're just kind of in denial. However, this opened my eyes because you could see in some of the couples, there's a lot of irritability, and then slowly they start to rekindle that flame, because we sometimes believe or think that once that flame's gone, it's gone forever. So it was kind of nice and refreshing to see that there's hope if you're in a situation like that. And also it features Jaya, who I actually interviewed for my podcast. I cannot wait to bring that episode out. And she is the author of Your Erotic Blueprint, which is a great book that I finished reading just over maybe 10 days ago. And I first got to know her in this series, and I was like, wow, she's amazing. And now I actually got to speak to her, so I'm very, very, very blessed. But I recommend that series a lot. Then, and also just lots of sex tips in it. So if you are someone who is in a relationship, very long-term relationship with maybe children, or just maybe you've been in a relationship for a very long time and you're bored, check it out because there are many tips that you can apply to your own love life. The next series I really love is How to Build a Sex Room. I really love this. This is also a docu-series, and it follows an interior designer who goes to visit different couples to actually create a sex room in their home. So it's kind of like sexuality meets interior design, which sounds like a very original idea for a docu-series, but it's actually much deeper than interior design, because what you discover in these in each episode is that the room is actually a reflection of a couple's sexuality. So it actually discovers many types of couples, for example, couples who have had children and lost the flame, or maybe even there is a polyamorous, I don't know what you would refer to them, group of 7 people. There's also gay couple, lesbian couple who are doing van life, if I remember correctly, people who are into kink. So basically she goes around to their houses to get to know what the sexuality is like, what's lacking, what they like, and what they are curious about. And she brings lots of toys and just to see, you know, what they want. And she also does a makeover room for a single woman as well. So it's really showing and portraying different sexualities, different sexual expressions, and different relationship expressions, which I think is really interesting. So it's, yeah, much deeper than the actual pieces of furniture. Oops. Then the next one I recommend is an incredible series called, I think it has 2 seasons. It's called Bonding. Oh my God, I absolutely loved this series. It follows a young woman who is a student, and she's actually working as a dominatrix on the side to pay her bills. And it explores many different expressions of kink, BDSM, and fetishism, but it kind of opens your eyes to this world, but with humor, which is, it's not something you would associate with BDSM in general. And so you can actually learn about a lot of different kinks through this series. And it's kind of, the humor in it is amazing. I just love it so much. So it also has some kind of emotional side to it. So it's kind of like, it takes you on an emotional journey almost. You can see, you know, the struggles of the protagonists, and also yeah, and even people who actually go to these types of, who seek these services. You see it's almost like psychology but with whips. Yeah, it's really good, and they're actually very short episodes as well, so it's really addictive to kind of keep on watching, because they're only about half an hour long, if I remember correctly. And last but not least, I recommend the film Secretary. Oh my God, Secretary is one of the films that I've seen the most. I mean, if I asked myself, like, how many films have you seen more than 10 times? I think Dirty Dancing would be one, Ghost, Secretary, and Trainspotting. That's my list. What about yours? Leave a comment below. So Secretary is a film that, it's about a secretary, obviously, and who goes to work for a lawyer who has a very old school office. There are no computers, no Wi-Fi, and he has typewriters. So every time, one time this secretary, who's Maggie Gyllenhaal, makes a mistake, she has to repeat the whole procedure because she can't just press delete and carry on. So one day he says, come into my office, and he tells her to lean over the table and start spanking her to punish her for those spelling mistakes. But then she actually enjoys it so much that she starts making spelling mistakes on purpose. So I'm not going to tell you any more about that. I would not want to ruin the story for you. But if you are a sapiosexual, if you're into the kind of cerebral side of BDSM and submission and total power exchange, and yeah, it's a kind of twisted love story. So I would highly recommend this film. I just think it's amazing. I've seen it so many times. I love the energy between the actors and how they portray this this love, because it's about love. And also I like the fact that there is so much sexual tension between them without there being physical sex. Yeah, it's amazing. So those are my recommendations on Netflix. And if you have anything that you recommend, I also have HBO Prime Video. So I'm looking for stuff as well as juicy, because I think I'm juiced out. I've watched everything that's juicy, and I want to have some things to watch during the cold winter night. So please, if you have any suggestions, please leave a comment below. And that's it for today. I'm going to be watching The Crown, and I'm sure I'm going to finish it tonight, so I'll be looking for some new stuff. So that's it for today, and if you have any ideas for new videos, don't hesitate to write to me at venus@venusohara.org, or you can leave a comment and I'll be answering very soon. Thanks for watching, and see you tomorrow. Mwah.